All right, welcome back to the Beast Game podcast, and today we're talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem. I guess another reboot for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Before they were kind of like live action with CG, and now this is all kind of computer generated, maybe in the vein of Into the Spider-Verse. So this is a Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg led iteration of Ninja Turtles. So there's a bunch of people in this, but this is directed by Jeff Rowe. And again, it's written by Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg. The film follows the Turtle brothers as they work to earn the love of New York City while facing down an army of mutants. Basically starts off on Baxter Stockman, the ooze, the mutagen, like whatever it's called. There's an explosion, he gets killed. You kind of meet the Turtles that they're much younger. So they really wanted to be in high school. They live with Splinter, who is always cautioning them about humans. That this iteration of Splinter is not necessarily the one from like the previous series, where it is human and then got turned into a rat. Splinter has always been a rat and is also played by Jackie Chan. There's a heist that goes on. The Turtles are trying to track it down. What then happens is that a particular character that is played by Ice Cube, who is called Superfly, that is handling some of these heists. Turtles kind of find out that this Superfly is also a mutant, a large mutant fly. Friends the Turtles at some point. Matt, how do you feel about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem?
I like the movie. I'm glad that they went ahead and rebooted it because it just seems like it's needed for the next generation, because if we kept going along with the same movie starting all the way back, like in the early 90s, they would probably lose some of the demographics for the younger folks because they would have to watch the movies way back in the day. I liked it in that aspect. The animation, which is, I guess, along the Spider-Man verse, animation. I really enjoyed that, other than Disney Pixar stuff that we typically get. And I wouldn't be surprised if everyone starts leaning towards, hey, this is how we're going to do animation from then on. I did like the action, storytelling was fine. And I understand with every reboot, they're going to have a little bit of a modification, especially with the characters, like with the bad guys, supposedly bad guys. I understand there'll be a little change. The one thing I did not like the April O'Neil character.
Yeah, there are some issues with that rebooted approach to April O'Neil. Go ahead.
Get it? I know they're trying to incorporate, like, hey, having anxiety and normalizing that and all that stuff, that woke stuff, whatever. But stop changing the characters.
Yeah, so in this one, April is also a high school age student instead of being an adult female.
Yeah, like I don't see her getting with Casey Jones whenever he decides to pop up in this particular universe.
Plays on the hockey team for high school, something like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, and then maybe that happens. But I'm not feeling April O'Neil. I think that's the one big negative thing about this movie I did not like. She's supposed to be the translator between the humans and the mutants, but instead she's an outcast like one of them. Theme of this movie, acceptance, etc. But I didn't like her character. I don't like the fact that they changed so much about her. Like the animation, like the action, like the depth of the characters. Although they changed a little bit stuff as far as Splinter's upbringing, I wasn't really feeling that.
Yeah.
But again, like I said, there's going to be some variations, and that's fine. Not feeling April. Go back to the drawing board with that. Just write her off with someone else.
Yeah. So for me, that again, Into the Spider-Verse has now spawned, we need to recreate ideas in the vein of Into the Spider-Verse. That's what's happening with this movie. So the art style is kind of a cross between maybe claymation and watercolored hand-drawn animation. Obviously it's all CG, so that's the first thing. Again, taking that approach. So everything's also, again, Into the Spider-Verse is very music driven. And the music kind of plays a part into each maybe action scene or something, that this also happens in this movie. So it is it starts off on an MOP song. The thing with this is it's also a large voice cast. So you have Giancarlo Esposito was Baxter Stockman. That's the first thing. I was like, hold on, is that Giancarlo Esposito? He has a very distinct voice. Most of the turtle characters are like kids, so you don't really get a good sense of who they are. I mean, they might be somebody at some point, but I don't know who they are. But
Paul Rudd was in this too, supposedly.
Yeah, John Cena, Seth Rogen, Rose Byrne, Maya Rudolph. Like I said, Giancarlo Esposito, Jackie Chan, Ice Cube. I think Post Malone's in there. Hannibal Buress is a character. Cast also kind of rounds out some of this. So Bebop and Rocksteady. That Jill, they're just kind of mortal enemies of the Turtles. And they're also rocking along with Superfly. But just to kind of ruin it for you, they all joining forces.
Wasn't a fan of that one too much, yeah, but so I get it.
It's something different, and I don't think we really have seen that in a way where it is, again, where they're all just on the same page. It's okay. It's not the worst thing that I've seen. It could have been a lot better. Like you said, April O'Neil, high school version of her. I mean, there's certain things that you can change with the Turtles. There's been different iterations, whether it be TV, movies. The Michael Bay produced movies were, you might as well just call them adults. They're supposed to be teenagers. But this one, I mean, they're definitely kids. They want to be accepted. That's also another thing with modern movies. There has to be some undertone about being an outcast and wanting acceptance. So the Turtles want to be regular kids. They want to be able to go to school and do kid things. So that's also kind of prevalent through this. But the budget was 70 million, but it's gross basically about 135 million. Post-COVID numbers. I mean, it's not the Barbie near $1 billion thing, but it's a modest approach to this movie post-COVID. So, Matt, what score would you give Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem?
I give it an 8. Again, it's a very definitely a solid showing. I'd watch it again. I'd probably mute April. Don't care about her. And they set it up in a way. The one thing I like about this particular series is that they don't have Shredder off the top.
Yeah, Ice Cube is the main villain, Superfly.
They can build up to it in either part 2 or part 3 or however long they decide to go with this particular iteration of Turtles. Pretty amped about it. So, yeah, not a bad movie.
Well, I think solid other 8. Than Transformers, TMNT is your other passion. So
Yes. Watching it, I was like, hey, am I going to get the same nostalgia as I did previously with other movies? No, but will it represent it well enough where I'm not like, hey, this sucks. I'm never going to watch another one. Definitely not, but I enjoyed it.
All right, so I will give this a 7.5. So this movie is about an hour and a half, so it's short enough. It's direct enough. Like I said, it does something different with the Turtles that has not been done in whatever the live action movies, the cartoons, the various iterations of the cartoons. I will say that 2007 movie, like that CG movie, was actually pretty good. I think I need to rewatch that one.
Oh, that one. Yeah, that was okay. They went head first in that particular universe. Yeah. Head first.
But like I said, this one is taking some cues from Into the Spider-Verse, where, again, a lot of it is going to be art style driven. Really didn't like the kids' voices for the Turtles. Something about it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. It grew on me, but I think overall,
they're teenagers, though.
I understand, but I just think overall they could have picked some better people. And then the dialogue was a little too on the nose. Every line had to have some quip about something current, just daily life conversation. We might be talking about a song, or we might be singing a song. It's like, all right, just kind of stop with all that. But the movie's not bad. It's an hour and a half, so it's something to watch and then move on from. And hopefully the future versions of this, which, I mean, again, this movie will be getting some type of sequel. The money side of things, because it's made about like almost 100 million domestic and only like 37 million international. That might doom this to a point where there might not be a sequel. But if it is,
that's not enough money, man. I bet you it costs more than that to produce it.
Yeah, I mean, if it made 300 million, I would probably say there's a good likelihood that there would be a sequel. But just a little above 130, there's a lot of stuff going on with this. But
You're not getting a movie anytime soon.
All right. That's the Beast Game Podcast. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This Cowabunga.